Today I'm going to take you through a mobility routine. This particular routine is one that you can do at home with no equipment. It's a perfect one that you can do in the mornings before you start your day or just before any type of sport that you might be interested in. I like to do this routine before I go running if I don't have a resistance band. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to show you a number of different routines that you can do. I want you to do 8 reps of each one. We're going to start in a lunge position at the bottom of our mats. You're going to lift that left leg up in front of you. You're going to have a nice 90-degree angle in that hip and in those knees, and you're slowly going to rotate and tilt that pelvis up towards your chin. So just before we really get into things, I want you to be aware of the movement and the positioning of that pelvis when you are doing these different stretches and routines in different positions. And as we're leaning forward, I want you to really focus on being aware of that stretch in that front part of your hip. From here, we are slowly going to lift those arms up into a T position, and we're just going to point our palms towards the ceiling, and as we lean forward and back, we're rotating and forward and back and rotating. Keep going. We're going to do a few more of these. You're in that center when you lean forward, and when you lean back, you're rotating that trunk. So you're really maintaining that positioning of that pelvis while rotating that upper body and shoulders, and slowly changing over. Remember that tilt in that pelvis and leaning forward and slowly back. And we're going to do a few of these before we get into that trunk rotation. And let's do one more, lifting those hands into a T position, leaning forward and back, rotating, leaning forward, back, rotate. That's 2 and 3. Please make sure that when you're leaning forward that your pelvis isn't slanting in any way. You want to maintain that stability so that you can feel that stretch down that front part of your body. From here, we're going to place our hands into that all fours position, and I want you to slowly lift your hips up towards the ceiling, rotating the pelvis up towards the ceiling, pushing those heels into the ground. We're going to walk out those calves before we get into that hamstring stretch. And let's do 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to feel it burn behind the back of that calf. 9 and 10. And from here, just bringing those toes a little bit closer towards our hand, pushing those heels into the ground and rotating to stretch out those hamstrings. I want you to rotate that tailbone up towards the ceiling and just up, and now release and rotate and release. And while you're doing that, you are pushing those heels into the ground. And let's do 4 more. That's 1 and 2. Just rotating that pelvis. It might look like I'm not doing anything, but it's just a light rotation of that tailbone towards the ceiling. From here, we're going to bend those knees and bring right foot in line with our right hand, and we're just going to rotate that inner arm up towards the ceiling and following it with our hands and slowly back. I want you to lean into that front foot while we're doing it. Bending that front knee, and we're just going to do 4 on each side. And 4. And changing over legs to do that same thing. And leaning into that front foot and opening. And slowly down. Following that hand with your eyes as you are moving. And 2 more, and last one, and back down. From here, we are going to, I'm just going to turn around so that you can see me. I want you to get onto your all fours, and you are going to place your right foot out towards the side. I want that toe pointing towards the wall in front of you. And as you lean back, you're rotating your tailbone out towards the wall behind you, and you're pushing your groin into the ground. And we're just going to do 4 of these before we change that position and that movement of that pelvis. And last one. And now I want you to push your toe. I want you to point your toe up towards the ceiling. And now you are tucking that tailbone inwards, and you're leaning backwards and forwards. And this just changes the angle of the stretch and the actual feeling of where you would be then feeling that stretch as you move. And last one before we change over to the other side. And pointing that toe out towards the wall in front of you, rotating that tailbone out towards the wall behind you, and pushing that groin down into the ground as you're leaning forward and back. We're going to do 2 more before we're changing that angle again. And last one, and rotating that foot up towards the ceiling, tucking in that tailbone, and just leaning backwards and forwards. And we're going to do 4 of these. And last 2, and that's 3 and 4. And back into center. So that is a perfect mobility routine that you can do before you get your day started, before you do any form of exercise. It's one that I, as I said, love to do to get that movement, to get that flexibility so that I can perform better and enjoy my day better. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please hit that like button if you did, and comment in the section below if you have any questions about mobility and the importance of warming up before you get into some physical activity. See you soon.